We are witnessing the most terrifying thing about Juraj Slafkovsky after having a dominant game where he dropped the mitts and scored a goal. His quote after the game just shed more light into why this is scarier for the NHL than I think they realize. We got to dive into everything Juraj Slafkovsky and exactly what he said that has us so hyped up. But Jesse, we also got to talk about the Habs skills challenge today where we see some more crazy stuff. Not only getting a 94-mile-an-hour slapper from Lane Hutson, but that insane deke right here. Unbelievable. Plus, Arber Xhekaj winning the hardest shot, but we got his brother Florian as well with another absolute snipe, putting him above a highly touted Habs prospect in terms of goals for the Laval Rocket this season. A lot of great stuff coming up on this episode of Habs Digest, and we're going to start with our boy Flo. Jesse, now we talked about him the other day for good reason. He's been having an amazing season, now up to 14 goals in 20 games, 14 goals, 20 points in 47 games. Not 14 goals in 20 games, that would be insane. But again, just his play in this last game against Syracuse, this snipe from a sharp angle, this is not an easy goal, first of all, but the most impressive part about this, Jesse, is that puts him now above Owen, Beck, and above Alex Barré-Boulet for goals this season, and of course above Logan Mailloux. And the only guys above him are Joshua Roy, Laurent Dauphin, and Jared Davidson. How impressive has Florian been? We talked about this the other day, and he decided to just go out and pull off another move that just we couldn't possibly have expected.
Yeah, it's quite incredible because this is a goal scorer's goal. Like, we only see like Cole Caufield types normally trying to make this type of play, but we've always kind of said that this is kind of still in his wheelhouse. You got to love him kind of going to the net and really kind of picking his spot here. And I mean, we've been kind of drawing some parallels of other players like a Pezzetta, where, you know, he kind of followed that same production in the AHL and then was able, obviously, to find a spot in the NHL. Very projectable. I'm going to throw another player into this equation.
Sure.
Somebody who plays physically and who has another great shot. Who am I talking about, folks? Emil Heineman, right? So maybe that this is what Florian Xhekaj can really bring to the equation. And again, when we're seeing like these goal score type goals, like just picking the corner, basically banking off the goalie's mask there, is he's showing the unicorn that this player is. He's just got a little bit of everything. So, you know, just absolutely amazing to see that, you know, the Xhekajs, they're coming in hot and heavy into this episode of Habs Digest.
Absolutely. Like, and I can't believe this too. Like, they're just 20. Him and Owen Beck are like the same age. But Florian's 6'4". Like, look at the height leaders of these goal leaders. Yeah, 6'3" Logan Mailloux, of course, on defense. But it's like 6 foot, 6'1", 6 foot, 6 foot, 5'10", 5'9". And then Florian, 6'4" with 14 goals. I can't stress this enough, how insane his season has been, not to mention the 126 penalty minutes and the fact that he's been playing bottom 6 minutes for a lot of this season.
Yeah.
Unbelievable stuff coming from Florian Xhekaj. So leave your thoughts on Florian down below. It gets better every single day. But Jesse, we also got to take a little bit of a detour now. And as the Habs had their skills competition last year, of course, the big story was Arber Xhekaj hitting 107 miles an hour on the slap shot. And while he didn't quite get there this year, he did still win with 101 miles an hour, just beating out Mike Matheson. But you know who had the fourth hardest shot of the entire thing? He actually, of the players who participated, only Matheson and Xhekaj, actually no, Matheson, Xhekaj, and Struble were all ahead of him. But Lane Hutson, also, Jesse, had a 94-mile-an-hour slap shot. Now, I don't have video of that, but what I do have is video of this shootout attempt. Now, that might not count in a real NHL game. He does come backwards a little bit, but who knows? He can modify it. The skills competition is amazing every year, but to see Lane Hutson pull off that move and still hit a 94-mile-an-hour slapper, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm just more and more impressed by the Lane train every single day.
Yeah, when we talk about, like, you know, the other day I said we haven't seen the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Lane Hutson right now. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, this deke here, I haven't quite seen it before. And yeah, it is arguable, like, does he maintain forward momentum kind of progress all the way out? But again, yeah, he could definitely modify this. But, like, this is a phenomenal move. Like, we don't see this all the time. Like, there are variables. There's ways to kind of break this down and to do it different ways and have it applicable in a game, which, of course, would be kind of the next level here. But, like, we knew that he had amazing hands. Like, just watch him pre-game doing his dekes, like, it's phenomenal. And when you're watching, like, this move, you see a lot of that same fluidity, that great, you know, very soft hands kind of coming into practice there. But, I mean, as you mentioned, the bigger surprise in all of this is coming in fourth when it comes for the slap shot. Like, never in my wildest dreams from earlier on this season would have I expected it. But, again, you know, coming out this break, we see Slap, who's looking a little bit more grown. Hutson having a slap shot, like, a lot of fans are commentating, like, he had a solid one-timer last night, which is the only reason why I'm just not completely bewildered by the six. I saw that shot, I was like, was that Hutson who did that? So if he can really add to his game a little bit more, I think just shooting general from the point, he's got a great timing of knowing when to make that happen with, traffic. I think Jack guy letting it rip again, he was able to create some things last night by doing that. I think that'd be a good look for him as well. So, I mean, it's just getting better, for our boy Lane Hutson. He's growing, he's getting that man strength, and he's just going to get more tools, to really benefit the Montreal Canadiens as a result.
Now, I don't want to keep making this comparison like we do all the time, but like we look at a guy like Quinn Hughes. One of his things coming into the league was like he had a bit of a softer shot, like not a muffin, but like not the hardest shot in the world. And he came in a couple of years ago and just all of a sudden became an amazing goal scorer. And he finally picked his spots better, his accuracy got better, and his shot got harder, a lot harder. And that's a thing that I can absolutely see happening with Lane Hutson. Knowing that he has the ability to summon that power at his size behind his shot could be a good indicator for something going forward to really like make that wrist shot, that snapshot that he can fire from about the hash marks a lot more lethal. Because it worked in college because he knows where to put the puck and when to shoot. But if he can just make it that little bit harder to fool NHL goalies a bit more, it could be something really good. So anyway, shout out to Arber for winning the thing. Him versus Matheson was cool. Struble had a good shot. But Lane Hutson, star of the show, like he often is, really, really cool stuff. But Jesse, I want to talk about our boy Slafkovsky. You alluded to him there just a little bit, how he looks so grown. And we have some quotes from him just recently talking about his game. Now, the first thing I want to show is something from Wednesday. He mentioned this at TVA Spal. He said, "You have to play like Brady Tkachuk if you want to have success in this league. It's the kind of player I want to become." I believe that was Wednesday. It was at least a few days ago this week. And sure enough, the Habs played the Ottawa Senators, though no Brady Tkachuk was in the lineup. But Juraj Slafkovsky certainly had that style of game. And after the game, Jesse, this is what he had to say. He said, "I feel like this season is an embarrassment from my side. After the ending of last year, 30 games, 30 points, and then I come out here and play like junior hockey and not doing anything. I've been thinking about it for 2 weeks that I've got to change something. But I want this to be my standard every night. I've just got to do it again." You see that it's working, and you just want to keep that. Just have to translate it to next game, because that's been an issue this year. Insanely self-aware. We've known that. He's also gotten a bit of a reputation of being pretty hard on himself, but he clearly has a great attitude. He's willing to work. And Jesse, watching him play last night, not only on this goal, but his physicality with the 8 hits. Where is it? I have it here somewhere. 8 hits last night, 15 and a half minutes time on ice. The fact that he's so self-aware, knows what he needs to do, and that he's capable of playing like that every single night is the most terrifying thing for other teams to look at.
Yeah, just the complete package right now. And him really owning up and knowing what he needs to do in his game is really the next step. I would say, like, I appreciate his honesty. I find it refreshing. Such a bit different take than maybe like 5, obviously 10 years ago, where when you're interviewing hockey players, you just get generic kind of answers. Get the puck in deep, gotta play hard. It's like nowadays, like these players, they're telling you the truth of like, yeah, I need to do better. That was absolute crap. I got better in my tank, and I really need to bring that out. So absolutely really love seeing that, where last night it's reflective in his game where he's just not thinking, Josh. He's just going out and shooting. And it's obviously translating to success as a result. And, good for him to kind of, have his aspirations. That's often a part of player development. Maybe some of their hands kind of involved in there. They'd like to find players for their guys, even if they're on other teams, to model themselves after. Why? Because the goal is just to be a better player. So you have to feel like Brady Tkachuk, has kind of come up with Adam there, director of player development as well. And I have maintained, again, maybe we want to stop on maybe tripping goalies outside the net, but I digress here on Habs Digest here today. I've maintained for a long time, though, that I think that Slav, by playing that type of game, will be a good playoff player. He's just going to be a guy that shows up when it's that time of year, and he's really going to have his best type of hockey. So we're seeing good things from Slav right now, but the reason why we should be really excited, why we've maintained that way here on the show for a long time, is the way that he's going to play in the future, folks. It's going to put a smile on their face. He's going to get that consistency. It's just going to be a part of his game. We're night in, night out. We're seeing that. And he's really going to have such a big effect on the game as a result.
Absolutely. Looked like a giant last night. He looked like Slafzilla last night. This dude, again, in a playoff environment where everyone else is laying the body every single possession, where everyone else is going at everyone, that's when Slav thrives as well. He loves getting into it when he's hyped up, when he sees that anger, that frustration. Like, really, Greg came up and hit him hard, and Slav's like, all right, you know what? Now I'm fired up. Let me drop the mitts. That's the thing, right? When he's around other people doing that, he's at his best. And that fired upness last night in Ottawa, hearing the Habs fans in the crowd, that fired him up. And come playoff time, just like you said, that's going to be the perfect time. Can you imagine a playoff game in Montreal with the blood pumping from Slav? He's going to lay some crazy hits, and he's going to play like the $10 million player he looked like last night, right? You can't convince me that that player last night, if he plays even 75% of his games like last night, that's a big ass, 8 hits in 75% of your games, but you know what I mean? That physical player who's in the right spots, firing crisp passes, he's going to be something really special. But leave some love for Slav down below. We can't get enough of this game. I know we're just talking about this one game, but it just signifies something even bigger for the Montreal Canadiens and why this team is a lot scarier than some other fans might have you believe. But that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and hey, subscribe to the channel, guys. We're pushing 20,000, and if you still made it here over 10 minutes into our daily video and you want to stay up to date on all the latest news, this is the spot to be. Hit the button down below. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.